Getting good at this going live thing. I've been doing it so much lately. What's up, guys? We have a great session for you today. I am going to be chatting with a friend of mine, Victoria Starr. She is a breathwork coach, and she's going to tell us all about the power of breathwork. Let's bring her on. 3, 2, 1, go. The weather is, oh, there we go.
Hello,
Hi,
how
how
are
are
you?
you? I'm good.
I'm so happy to see you. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I'm glad this could work. We kind of threw it together last minute. Hi, Crystal. I see you on. So we are going to chat a little bit today about breath work. This is something that has been really impactful on my own healing journey and not something I've talked about a lot. I've done a lot of research, just not enough to um, kind of share just the power of breath work with others. And I know there's so many different kinds and forms. And so we're going to kind of get into that a little bit today. But first, I'd like you just to, can you give us a little brief bio of kind of what you do and yeah, what you do?
Of course, I'd love
Yeah.
to. Something that I am so passionate talking about, Jen. I just want to drop in the space. Like the first time you and I met was a little over a year ago in Palm Springs at an all women's van meetup. And you and I didn't know each other, and you were in my space where I held this beautiful community of this safety to travel in through the power of breath work. We were in Palm Springs, and I just want to drop this caveat in here too, because there was so much outside noise that 42 of you women lied on the earth and you just tapped into the wisdom and the power of your
Yeah.
breath. There was actually a shooting range in the background that kept going off as I was facilitating. And I don't think any of you knew, because you were really
Um,
able to come into this safe community space of breath work and to hold each other in the support, whether it was energetically or whether it was physically. But I have full body goosebumps talking about it.
mm,
So that's how Jen and I met. And I'm just so excited to be able to share my passion and my mission to be able to bring breathwork to as many people as I possibly can. I travel full time in my van. Also, I have a chocolate lab. We've been on the road, almost 2 years now. And when I first found breath work, I was living in San Diego County. And I was going to this yoga studio that I fell in love with, but I told myself I was going to do something new to really expand and to grow, because I really felt trapped and I felt contained and I felt really isolated, and I had some depression that I was dealing with. So the yoga studio that I found had breath work, and I signed myself up. I was on a Sunday evening, and I'm like going there, and I could feel my body going, no, don't go. Sorry, my mind saying, don't go, and my body going, yes, go. So I listened to my intuition. I went into the breathwork session, and I had the most magical 45-minute session. I literally left feeling like I was levitating off the ground. There were so many shifts and just really witnessing, like, the magic is within me. It's not external. It is not from Netflix. It is not from drinking. It is not from binge eating. It is not from constantly doing. It is really, the magic is within me. The ability to grow and change and evolve is within my heart and within the power of my breath. So that's a little bit about how I experienced breath work. Like I said, that was over 4 years ago now, and I've been facilitating for 2.5 years, and I do it full time in the van, virtual, in person, at retreats. I'm actually in Santa Cruz right now at a yoga studio facilitating weekly there. So breathwork has this ability, us living in this world of overwhelm. There's so many things going on. If we watch the news, if we watch the weather, if we pay attention to the traffic and the noise that's happening outside of us, there's so much angst. There's so much. And I see, when I talk to people, I literally viscerally feel this retraction and this contraction within the body. That's why I'm kind of doing this. And it was for me too. Like I lived with a lot of noise and not able to regulate my nervous system.
Yep.
This fight or flight I constantly lived in. I was in an emotionally abusive relationship for 12 and a half years. I grew up with a parent that was a narcissist. So I was really comfortable sitting in that fight or flight, but I was really, really imprisoned. So my soul was just trapped. My light wasn't able to shine. So when I found breath work, Jen, I was able to really dive deep into what my patterns were, what my traumas were. I was able to go in and rewrite my story. And like I say, like the first half of my life was all this learning lesson. And then I'm almost 55. At 55 now, the second half of my life is really unpacking and growing and evolving and allowing my light to shine. And that is by regulating my nervous system. Yeah. So the type of breath work that I facilitate is a 3-part conscious connected breathing pattern, all done in and out through the mouth. And what that does is it helps to take us out of our sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight, where we breathe from our chest. That's really usually shallow when we want to flip somebody off in front of us that's driving in front of us that's cut us off, or somebody in the grocery store that's taken the last apple or something. We're living in this angst. And this breath work pattern helps to bring us into our parasympathetic nervous system. And I'm pointing to my diaphragm, and that's where our rest and our digest is. That is where our slow, that is where we're able to respond instead of react. This is the react. This is where we're able to slow down, to think about what's happening and come back to the present moment awareness and not live from the triggers and the traumas of the past.
And that's where healing chronic symptoms happens. That's where weight loss happens. That's where all of these things happen. And that's a lot of what I talk about, is how we are just living in this state of chronic fight or flight. And so many people don't even realize it because it's just the norm.
Yeah.
It's just normal. It's normal to feel constantly frustrated, overwhelmed, angry, whatever, angst, like you're saying, because, well, doesn't everybody feel like that? But everybody doesn't have to feel like that. And this is a great tool to help you shift, to remind you what it feels like to be in the present moment, to be in your body, to be in a more relaxed state.
Absolutely. Like, how often do we just simply walk down the road and take a walk and connect with nature? And by connecting with nature, we're connecting with our breath. I know you're always out there looking for heart-shaped rocks and all the things, but you're connecting with your nature and you're connecting with your breath. So that's the beauty. The practice that I facilitate, there's so many different breath work modalities that you can incorporate into your life. And I'm so excited to bring into your container the modality that I facilitate, because it has been so impactful in my healing and in my growth. And I've seen people with PTSD. I've seen, I've held space for people with MS. I've held space for people that are in AA, and sexual trauma victims, just able to just really rewrite their story and to heal that past version of us. And it's not like we have to go back there and we have to witness it and everything and feel all those feels again. It's just simply an opportunity to change the script, to change how we think and what we speak to ourselves. And that's through the power of our breath. Like I said, there's so much wisdom. But breath work has been around for thousands of years. Like pranayama, there's alternate nasal breathing, there's box breathing. There's just a simple, what I like to do in traffic when we're driving in the city. I think you and I had this conversation the other day, is I like to just breathe in as I'm driving to a count of 4 and out to a count of 7 or 8. And it really helps to slow down that nervous system. And that's the best one to do, like when you're under pressure like that, because it gets you out of that angst and that reactivity.
Yeah. Where we don't feel good, right? We don't make great decisions. Like, stress is really the root of so many ailments and chronic diseases and everything. And we've got the power in so much of our life to see things, like you say, perception. If we see it one way, it feels more stressful. It makes us feel bad. If we can look at it another way, it opens our eyes to something different, and we feel very different in our body. So this session too, I think when you do this kind of work with a group, with others, it's even more
Mhm.
powerful because there's an energy. Like I've done breath work a lot on my own, but like doing it together as a group was way more impactful
Mm.
because of like the collective energy. Is that kind of a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you're changing the frequency and the energy around you. Like if you think of it, the breath that you exhale could potentially be the breath that I inhale, right? That
Mm.
is creating this frequency, this connection, and this energetic community within people. And it still happens in the Zoom room too. Like it's amazing how, like, I'll be facilitating to a group of 20 people in the Zoom room and facilitate to just you, and then all of a sudden I'm speaking to you, but it shifts the entire frequency of the entire room. Like because they don't know I'm speaking to you, I don't say your name, but I'm just like leaning into what you're witnessing. So that it is, so it's really really super magical. And I also want to drop in, Jen, too, that our minds, our ego minds, our subconscious minds, great, it has kept us safe, right? I'm not dissing the ego mind, but it is been formed from the age of 0 to 7 years old. Based on our growth of those years is how we show up in life. Whether
Yep.
trauma happened, whether trauma within the womb happened, whether there was just your parents getting divorced or whatever it is generally how that subconscious keeps you safe. So for me, it was just shrinking and retreating and sitting in the corner as a little girl because I didn't want to witness what my parents were going through. And it kept me silent. It kept me in this people pleasing. It kept my self-worth like really low. I wasn't lovable. So within these patterns of growing up, I created this story in my head of all those things. And our subconscious mind, we think 95% of the day from our subconscious mind. So those loops and those stories are constantly playing. So within the power of this 3-part breath, we can change those loops. We can change the rewiring and the neurological pathways within the brain to create a new reality, to create our own story, a new story.
This is one of the things I talk about all the time, how 90% of our thoughts are the same every day. And in our subconscious mind, like they're habit, we're not even aware of them. However, it's our thoughts that lead to how we feel, and how we feel leads to the actions that we take. And the actions that we take is exactly what gets us the results that we have in life.
Yeah.
So we either are telling ourselves a story that's making us shrink and feel small and feel disempowered and not confident, or we can tell ourselves a story that makes us feel confident and empowered. And we're going to show up two very different ways if those are if you, with either one of those being the thought.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how how does breath work show up in your daily life? Do you do an hour-long session every day, and is it the same every day, or do you change it? I'm just curious what you do.
I love this question because um, I'm in flow. I think as van lifers, we're more in flow. But I have created, and I just posted a story on this morning, is that the past 6 weeks, I buckled down because I was avoiding doing it all. I was going through some shifts and changes in my life that weren't feeling good, and I really dissociated. And that's when we really need to go into the hard work and do the work. So I recognize that that's what was happening. And for 6 weeks now, I have been doing a guided meditation in the morning. I have been doing some simple alternate nostril breathing, some Kundalini breath work. It changes differently for me. But this 3-part modality that I facilitate, I'm doing at least once a week, whether it's from an app that I have, guided sessions, or I have somebody that I trust to hold space for me. She knows my story. She knows what I've been through, and I'll just reach out to her, and she's another breathwork facilitator. And I'm like, hey, I need you. And that's part of the beauty, Jen, is asking for help. That's what I think breathwork has allowed me to do, is recognize I'm not perfect. I don't need to show up perfect. And I get to be vulnerable and raw and ask for help when I need it. So, hey, I need you. She's facilitating for me on Thursday. Let's do this. Let's get down and dirty, and let's clear out the stuck shit.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
So you are going to hold one of these sessions for the girls in my Keep the Commitment program, which I am like so stoked to bring these guys. I can't even tell you. If people want to, who are not doing my program, who want to do a breathwork session with you, what does that look like?
Gosh, I'm super excited to hold space for your community. I know it's going to be magical. We'll have different intentions. different intention for your community versus my community. So I have a membership where I have, I think now there's 22 curated different breathwork sessions in there. Everyone has a different playlist. Everyone has a different intention. The journeys are different, and knowing that each session, if you do the same one, let's say, you know, a month apart from each other, you'll get a different response to it because your body is so innately wise. It knows what it needs and knows what it needs to get rid of. But I also hold twice a month virtual sessions in the Zoom room. Those are a community just of people that want to show up. I have a base community that have bought a year subscription into it. So my next one is, I think, May 22nd, if that's a Wednesday. It's on my website. It's also on my Instagram bio. And
Yep,
I also hold 22nd. Okay, cool.
Yep.
And I also hold private sessions too, 3-month private sessions, because I know the power of this work, being that I've been doing it for 4 years, is that we store shit. We sweep emotions under the rug. That stuff just stays within our body. And like you brought up before, it causes, oh, hey, my name is Victoria Starr. Thank you
Victoria
for asking.
Starr.
We said it
Yeah.
earlier in the live. But,
I'll tag
okay,
you too
cool.
when I post this.
Yeah, cool. But we also hold generational trauma too. And if we don't actively release that stuff, then that's what causes the disease within our body. I'm highly convinced. I have a nutrition background also, like you do. And I'm highly convinced that the stuff that we hold, whether it's ours or ancestral, that is our mission to change. That is our mission to change for the trajectory of generations to come, and to release that crap that we're holding on to.
Yeah. And this fits so well with the Keep the Commitment program I put together, because it's all about regulating the nervous system, learning to love ourselves again, talk to ourselves differently. And I help them kind of get rid of these stories, as you're talking about, through the one-on-one sessions that I do, and then adding this breathwork session. It's just going to be like insane. I like really, it's a true transformative process, right? Where we go from not having any awareness to how we're talking to ourselves, what stories we've got playing, how they're affecting our behaviors, to all of a sudden starting to have this awareness of things that are very much within our power and our ability to change. We can change our words. We can change our stories. We can do the breath work and drop into it, feel our body again, right? Like I was talking to somebody about processing emotions, and I was like, well, we processing emotions just means feel them. Like emotions just want to be felt, and they're felt in the body, not the mind. And that like blew her mind, because she was like, oh, I never knew that. But they don't teach us that in school, right? There's no breathwork class in school. There's no processing emotions class in school. But this is the stuff that affects how we feel on a daily, regular basis. So super, super important. And we both love sharing this stuff with everybody. Can we leave people with something that they can do? Like you mentioned, the in for 4, out for 8. Maybe that's it, or maybe it's box breathing or alternate nostril. Just something that people can do daily that's maybe like a 5 or 10 minute thing, just as an introduction.
Well, if first off, I want to say too, if I want to circle back real quick, Jen, give yourself compassion and grace when you find yourself in that spiral that has been programmed from the first half of your life. Like it's constantly there, right? So when you recognize it and when you have awareness of it, give yourself compassion that, oh, I'm there again. What can I do? What tool do I have that I can shift that thinking? Sometimes it's an hour you're in that loop. Sometimes it's a day. Sometimes it's 5 minutes. So it's just cultivating this love for yourself, that you do have the tools, and recognizing that you are so freaking worthy of utilizing these tools and changing your story. So I just wanted to share that too. So something that, like I said, super simple, super easy. You can do it as you're walking too, is you and I both love being out in nature, is taking yourself outside, whether it's 15 minutes, whether it's 30 minutes, however long it is, and allow yourself to ground. Like I think you get onto the earth, right? Feel the magic and the medicine of the earth, And then tap into what's around you. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? Maybe potentially what do you taste, right? But within that time, if you can slow down your breath by breathing in through a count of 4, so you completely exhale all the air out of your mouth, seal your lips, come back to nasal breathing, breathing into a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Through your nose, exhale to a count of 7, 2, 3,
Through my nose. I'm like,
5,
mouth, nose, mouth, nose, mouth, nose.
6, 7. It's always through the nose, because if you think about breathing through your mouth, you're actually getting ready to run. You're getting ready to flee. You're getting ready to fight. That's your anxious breathing. If you come back to the nose, that's where you can calm. That's where you can regulate. Okay. So breathing in for a count of 4 through your nose, out through a count of 7. And I'm going to stand up here a little bit, making sure that you don't breathe from your chest, but you breathe actually from your diaphragm, from down here. So when you breathe in so that your belly comes out like that. Mm-hmm. You're filling up a balloon into your diaphragm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, one of the ways I like to describe it, because we want a 360 expansion, right? We want forward, but we also want out to the sides. I think sometimes people just push their stomach out, and that's a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So I like the visual. It helps me of like if you put a balloon underneath your rib cage and you blow the balloon up and it's blowing up all 4 directions, that's how you want to breathe. So you want your rib cage to expand forward and back and laterally.
Yeah, thank you for that more descriptive description of the balloon that you're filling up. So breathing in through your nose to a count of 4, and you can always change that too. If that's too much, you can shorten it to 3 and then shorten the exhale to 5. Just play with it and spend 5-10 minutes doing it, and you'll really viscerally feel a shift in your body.
Yeah, I love it. And bonus points if you do it in the morning and get sun on your face, because that'll help set your circadian rhythm. I mean, if you do some grounding with some breathing and getting it in the sun in the morning, like I'm telling you, watch out. Your day is going to be on fire.
For sure, yeah.
Awesome. Anything else we should know before we wrap this up? We wanted to keep it kind of a half hour.
No, I mean, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you for reaching out and asking me to be in your community. I'm super, super excited to hold space for all the beautiful people that join and for future sessions too. If anybody wants to ask me any questions, reach out to me, DM me. I'm more than an open book. I love sharing. Like I said, it's my mission and passion to bring this to as many people as I possibly can, because we are the shift and the change for the next generations.
Mm-hmm. And I think, thank you so much. I'm so glad that we met. I instantly felt a connection with you when we did. And I really like finding people that are really passionate about what they do. Like it's an energy and I feel it. And that's probably why I was drawn to you immediately, because when you're passionate about what you do, you bring all of your energy and it means a lot more. So thank you for sharing this, and I cannot wait for our session.
You're so welcome. I'm so excited. Thanks, Jen.
You're welcome. We'll see you soon.
All right, bye.
Much love.